For thou some call him a fool who plays a king, even fools know this. Whoever defeats all 3 Joustus judges will win an incredible treasure and be crowned the King of Cards!
The King of Cards!
Competing for the Joustus crown is no simple matter, but King Knight schemes undeterred toward a kingdom of his own.
Toss a coin to your richer.
Toss a card to your king. Let's find out. Is it 2-player? Single player. That's what I thought. So, that is fine. We'll swap around. Hello and welcome to Strange Happy Hour. I am one of your hosts, Brent the Jesterhead Metcalf. Along to my left,
The dispatcher, Mark Clover.
empty-handed, of course. Just kidding. And on our right,
Job Pettit, Handsome John.
Handsome John himself. As you can see, it is the new year, 2020. Yay! Better drink that shit.
It was a little one, you're right.
All right. We are here to bring you news. Wait! CES is actually happening right now during this week, and there's going to be a ton of news. So rather than doing half a week of an episode and then half a week next week, we're going to do it all in one big, bold episode, which you're going to feel next week. So until then, we're going to sit here and play the King of Cards. If you are
great as I figure out the controls.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, have fun.
If you're not aware, this is the final expansion to the Shovel Knight platform that was released by Yacht Club Games. They released the original Shovel Knight over 4 years ago.
Yeah. There's no dig to this, it's just charge.
Yeah.
It's just charge, and so if you want to bounce on an enemy, you have to hit the enemy first. See?
Yeah,
You can do the same on walls.
Yeah, in order to double jump, you have to hit the wall.
Gotcha. Okay, but there is no like down bounce.
Correct.
Nope.
So you have to time yourself with bouncing off stuff. So, because I love Yacht Club Games, we both adored Shovel Knight to a great amount effects on the Vita, especially because you get the Kratos armor. It's so cool, so good, so good.
It was a good time, especially because didn't it also come to PS Plus?
No, we purchased it, but we
I know,
purchased
we
it
did.
for $15. Currently, if you want to purchase this game, it's going to cost you $40, and that's not a con by the developers. They have added so much to these games. If you're playing on Switch, you get the original Shovel Knight campaign along with 3 different villain campaigns, and then if you're playing on the PS4, PC, or Xbox One, you also get Shovel Knight Showdown, which is like a Smash Brothers style-esque brawler. So, wanted to really highlight this game because unfortunately so many people missed it due to the fact that it came out December 8th. Remember, if you want to twirl, you have to hit the wall, right?
Okay.
There you go. You got this, champ. Because so many people missed it, we really wanted to highlight it here, especially as conversations about Game of the Year and whatnot came about. This game kind of got left behind. Granted, it's an expansion to a previous game, but it's still such a joy.
Yep.
Of course, there are the few things that did happen to occur while we were away. Hopefully you all had a wonderful holiday, by the way.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Not a whole lot, though. We did get the new PS Plus games that are out now. As you're watching this show, you should be able to obtain those games. That would be Goat Simulator and
The Uncharted Collection.
the Uncharted Collection. Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, all remastered HD-ified games that were already HD. I think you can run into a bubble. See what happens.
No, you got
I
hurt
already
last
tried
time.
that, yeah. This is where I'm a little confused. How do I hit this one?
Try and go from the right side.
I already did.
Yeah.
You caught a lip.
Sounds to me like you need to get good, kid.
Oh,
Just kidding.
no, I remember playing as Plague Knight, and I didn't like. For the same reason I'm starting to struggle with King Knight. Is that his sliding movements are way too forgiving
So I will say that
when it comes to like being like on ice.
the feeling of Shovel Knight compared to Plague Knight compared to Spectre Knight compared to
Can't wait to see how you do it, bro.
I know, I can't remember actually. I was sitting here like, maybe I'll be able to help them. It's very different, but that's one of the reasons why I adore all these expansions is because they are so different on how they control. And so it is about learning that little adjustment as you go forward.
The
But Uncharted Collection, super dope. Very excited about that.
If you were like at all like you know like there's just nothing out there for me right now, Uncharted Collection is perfect. Because and I do recommend if you are actually going to play one, to actually do it first. Because if you don't, you will play 5 minutes of it and then leave. Like it is still kind of dated. Even though it was fun to play,
yeah,
it's still not.
Well, it's designed in a year, right? It was it 2006, I think. No, that's when the PS4 launched, so 2007. It was designed in a time in which people were still getting used to these larger, beefier consoles. We were still in the era of score chasing, and ironically, as we're playing a score chasing game. But you know, platformers, Jack and Daxter, and all these other little fiendish things. Whereas, ooh, yeah, you like that? Oh, come on! Ooh. Sorry, I had to sit here and
Got my money.
Score chase. They were finally just kind of getting their feet wet, but it really comes to a head in the later Uncharted games. I adore 3. I know it's a little divisive. Not everybody was a big fan. However, I highly recommend playing through that if you play only one of them, because I think it's a nice, even keel, fun romp, if you will.
Yeah, I would say probably 3 for the longest time was...
I was like, I shouldn't have done that shit the other way.
He's got to go towards the bubble, but the natural thing is going to go toward the wall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, checkpoints, that's right. That's how old school games work. But regardless, 3 games in one, 3 classic games, because all of them are good. Even we bag on one a little bit, it's still a good game. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. So, and then Goat Simulator, which I think is very funny because we just left the month of December, and what also came out in December for PlayStation was the Untitled Goose Game. So we have Untitled Goose Game and a Goat Simulator you get to play. You get to farm animals, all for you, folks.
I love it.
Live the 4K life.
You know what? A lot of people love those games, though.
I played the first 2 levels of Untitled Goose Game, and it's hilarious. It's super dumb.
Especially when you start doing some of the secret levels that they don't talk about, like they just sort of pop up. They're
Yeah, I was one of my favorite objectives so far has been to make a picnic, and I had to gather all these items to make a picnic, and I pissed the farmer off in doing so, and it was great. I was like,
my favorite one, because I just sort of like came across it, and it was like one of those natural things of like, I'm gonna try this out. Why not? It's where you lock him, you steal his key, and lock him out. And it's a secret objective.
Yeah.
For those of you who play, probably have done it too anyway. But it's just one of those things that came natural of like, I steal keys.
Well,
what happens if I lock him out?
That's a really well-designed version of like a playground that's not too large. You know?
Right. Like
but,
it's pretty well restricted, but like you can do like anything. There's like something good that comes out the other side of it, like an objective or something.
I think my favorite one, other than what I described, which was make a picnic, was swapping the little kids' eyeglasses. There's like you get glasses, you make them drop, and then you gotta pick up another pair. But yeah, back to what we were saying. PlayStation Plus, you can play as a goat, you can play as Nathan Drake. Why would you not want to play as Nathan Drake? He's a modern
Now, a lot of people,
Indiana Jones.
I mean, it's kind of divisive where people said 2 is the best and still is. I don't believe that.
Oh yeah, 2 is flawed in so many ways. It's a good game. But it reminds me a lot of other opinions where people are like, oh, this is the best movie of a trilogy. I'm like, shut up, no, it's not. You're wrong. It's almost like I have hard opinions, which is why we have podcasts.
Yeah. Sometimes they are like striking steel.
When we touch, the honesty's too much.
Is it worth it?
So we also got the Games of Gold for the month of January. For Xbox One owners exclusively, you have sticks. Which sticks is this? There's 2 sticks. I'm trying to see off their YouTube channel. It's a little difficult.
Dash!
I didn't think about it until the last second. I was like, I thought I had it. No, I did not.
Sticks Master of Darkness, and then the Batman the Telltale games, which are wonderful.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then the 360 games are Tekken Tag Tournament and Lego Star Wars 3. So, solid games.
See, Games of Gold is...
It's getting
They're
to...
killing PlayStation
They are.
for like the past year.
Well,
easily.
they have a solid backing, and then the fact that everything that you get off there is backwards compatible, it's hard to deny that it's not worth the value.
Yeah.
Sony had that forever up until this past March when they're like, no, we're getting rid of that. Because why give Vita owners more bang for their buck?
I was about to say, I was like,
It's not decrepit. It's still alive and around.
yeah, we have 2.
Each. That is not a problem, okay? It's not a problem. I can quit anytime I want.
Yeah.
You say so.
But no, I mean, I think it's the same thing we're seeing with... Can we get it? Yay! Collision boxes! Okay.
Ooh.
It's
Yeah.
not bad. It's just, yeah, right there.
Not worth it. Not for that, baby.
Got a medal, baby! Oh, fly back.
This is, these games very much the same as, I love, Mega Man.
Oh, yeah.
It has that same exact feel to it. Busting down invisible walls, all of a sudden you get like an extra treasure or an upgrade.
Well, in the story of Yacht Club, like, once again, I've pitched the book before. You should 100%, if you have any interest in video game design, history, like, development, the story of Yacht Club Games as a development studio that left Way Forward, because Way Forward, well-known studio, made some great games. They made the Shantae games, which are very well-known. Paved their way by basically making Shantae games and then a ton of out-of-house projects. So in order to make the builds work, they would work for other companies to develop the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game or stuff like that. And so this small group left Way Forward saying that they wanted to make their own games. And here they are, releasing arguably one of the best retro games we've seen in years, on top of the fact that it is incredibly successful. One of the goals they wanted was to build a franchise, and they have done just that. Like, Shovel Knight is incredibly well known. It's not Mario or Sonic, but it's on its way. I mean, I can't wait to see what they do next. So,
did you hear about Platinum Games taking investment money from
Tencent.
A lot of people are like flipping out right now.
So Platinum Games decided that they were going to take money from Tencent so they could do independent publishing, which is great. I'm excited for the fact that they can become their own entity and not have to cater to any specific one. Can't do it on the Mossy Stone.
Oh,
Oh, learn it. So good, video games. However, Tencent, as we've talked about on numerous occasions on this show, is a dubious company. And it's really hard to be excited. You gotta go on the ladder.
I thought I just came down.
I know. Tricked you. It's a dubious company that is trying to put itself involved with all these other companies to make itself difficult to leave. And I hope they know what they're doing. They did announce they have two major, they have major announcements for this year, including a couple of titles they're going to be releasing. So that's exciting. I mean, we already know about the Bayonetta Vanquish collection, but what else they could have in store, I don't know. Maybe another Astral Chain. They have the capability to do so much. That is a small Japanese developer that has really found its way recently because they haven't had to cater to the, hey, we need to make Legend of Korra to make money to make Vanquish. And I'm really hoping that this Tencent money doesn't ruin them, I guess. Speaking of money involved in, things that we love, Disney Plus has this weird policy that people are starting to notice where every movie and television show released on the platform will not stay on it. So one of the big things that Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, announced early on when Plus was discussed, Plus discussed, I'm a poet, I didn't know it. A bard, if you will. One of the major things he stated was, this will not be Netflix, this will not be Hulu. What titles are on here are going to stay on here. However, people noticed over the holiday break that certain movies like The Sandlot were Home Alone 2 were gone. So, when questioned, the response was, well, what we meant were our major titles.
Really? You stuck?
Yeah. Well, you got this.
But why? Like,
well, the whole bait and switch, for one, seems very odd, right? Like,
You son of a gun! I saw it, I was like, no!
it seems very odd because, again, they don't have to make a contract deal with anyone.
Right.
They own those products.
it's their title, so.
And so it is, again, that
They
arbitrary.
do that thing where they like, oh, we're gonna make this inflation, and you're gonna feel like you wanted it.
Yep.
It's like it's not necessary.
It's that-
we're already paying for it.
It's the arbitrary inflation where they're trying to make it feel Like it's it's missing.
Artificial.
Artificial, thank you guys. Arbitrary.
It is arbitrary.
Yeah. So
Sorry,
as frustrating as that will be.
Frustrating.
Stop the timer. We don't know what we're doing. It's 2020. How many years have we done the show? Move on.
Over a year now.
Over a year now. We also saw that the Silent Hill art director is seemingly working on a new game.
I already got it.
Possibly a new game in the franchise. So this is only exciting because Konami is seemingly doing nothing with their franchises. Silent Hill is one of their largest and easily like perfect for a recoming. You know, it really sucks that try using the D-pad.
I keep over controlling it as part of the problem.
That's what I'm saying. Try the D-pad. I think it's a little bit easier. That's a personal preference of mine when it comes to these platformers. D-pad over joystick, hands down. But you know, after Kojima parted ways with Konami and we lost Silent Hills through there, the franchise has seemingly been dead.
Did you hear about people saying that this whole Konami thing and Kojima thing will be a farce just to try to throw people off, and it's like something that's been like 10 years in the works?
I really hope that's the case because that would be so Kojima and I would love every second of it. Love every second of it.
It's bad when you can make up like lore off of another person
Yes,
like
yes.
that.
Yes. He's nonsense. He's a nonsense man, and I love him for it. But yeah, Silent Hill's coming out. I think this is the perfect time. We're seeing Resident Evil have this huge rebirth where Capcom's really found their way with the remakes. They've also found their way with how to handle new products, right? We saw Resident Evil 7, which people thoroughly enjoyed.
Yep.
So I think Silent Hill is perfect for that next level of like, let's see what we can do with this franchise. Let's see if something new comes up. Especially since they tend to lean towards psychological horror, and that alone, I think, is what makes that franchise interesting.
I agree.
So, oh man, I need to stop dying.
Don't forget, like Resident Evil 3 is coming out in 3 months.
Yeah. Dude, it's nuts how fast that game was announced, and then will be released. Hey, John, there's that chicken you needed. Was it tasty?
Did you make it?
Yeah, you could have saved it. You should have.
He's
You might have.
tasting it. He like instantly pooped it out and everything.
You just want to defeat that beetle.
I did.
Yeah, he killed me too.
Yeah, well,
He deserved to die.
Gotta get the revenge in.
it did hit you in the butt, so.
This game is the way that they have introduced the same game with new characters brings a good life to it.
Yeah.
And the controls all feel different in the same, in the same respect, feeling kind of the same.
Yep.
Not being able to control a downward motion makes me feel very vulnerable in this game that is made to be like a downward attacking game.
Remember, you cannot.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go, champ. You got it.
You get that?
Don't run away.
You're in an orgy.
But it also appears there was another leak.
Did he go back in?
Oh no!
He go all the way.
Apparently another leak happened this week where the DualShock 5 controller seems to have leaked. Surprise, surprise, it looks like a DualShock 4.
Yes.
It's a basic place.
Slightly larger.
It's slightly larger. I also think what's interesting about it, I screwed up entirely.
No, you can slip it off the left side probably.
Oh, you're right, you're right. What's interesting is that it looks chunkier. It looks like a chunky boy compared to...
See, I don't feel that way about it.
I mean, it's not like incredibly chunky. It's not like it's sitting there going, hey, I'm a fat boy. It's just a little bit chunkier.
That would be...
I'm a little fat girl. Say it! That's a John Mulaney joke. Don't get offended, please. I mean, you can get offended if you want to.
It was from a comedian. Anything is possible.
If you guys have been watching this long enough, you understand that he doesn't care.
You're not wrong. Ha!
You cares more about other people's feelings than...
Ha ha! Little beetle.
Beetle. Go down there, go to that left side.
Oh, John, I was in the middle of stuff! There you go, that's for you, buddy.
He goofed.
I goofed. As you can tell, as anybody who has played Shovel Knight, this plays fairly differently, which is what some of the challenge and enjoyment is. But I love the way they do the art style because it still feels very much like the game, and you can tell, like, I remember this region. Like, there's a little bit of nostalgia to it, even though the level design is completely different. Because we actually just played through this in co-op for the first time. Yeah, I gotta kill that beetle for nothing.
Yes.
I think the big thing that people notice is that it looks a little chunkier, but overall it is the exact same as the DualShock 4. And I think that is intentional People seem to really enjoy the DualShock 4.
Well,
they also
backwards compatibility kind of has to be.
Also, they sold 106 million units as far as we know right now, so I think they have to make sure that whoever's diving back into this can feel like they know what they're doing. And I actually think that overall, when it comes to controller design, there's not really a whole lot more that needs to be done. It's more along the lines of like the actual features of the controller itself, which we're seeing with haptic feedback of the triggers and stuff.
Well,
Don't worry, I fixed your mistake.
You said it's a chunkier controller there. I mean, like honestly, I kind of like that idea. That the PlayStation controllers, for example, like they feel kind of thin in the hand, that kind of thing. And PlayStation controllers, like it's no secret that the Xbox has always been more ergonomic. It's always felt better in the hand.
It's always been more appealing to men. I wouldn't say it's more ergonomic.
Okay, all right.
That's just like they have done multiple surveys, and that has been the case.
Really?
Yes. Now, obviously, that's not for everyone, but that is most of the research has shown. And I believe that comes down to a size factor.
That's fair.
Watch it die!
Thought he was gonna give me two.
I know, that's the new nickname, Beetle. I love the rats, too. Propel me, says.
Took us a while to get through it. Level 2.
We got it.
Accomplished.
We got it. Now we get, well, here, you get to watch him talk to his mom.
Okay.
But no, I think that's the other thing, too, is that there are people who did not like the DualShock 4 or do want it chunkier. So I think that's going to happen.
Oh my! Look, hey,
Oh, my
there you
little
go.
prince!
Oh,
Do you
my
return to serve the day with the ingredients I requested? Mother, I am no prince. I am a king. And mother, kings have subjects who do the bidding for them.
Wavy subjects.
Oh, my precious love! Those are rats, not subjects. Why is she southern all of a sudden? My rats are loyal to the last. They're my starter subject. Part of my grand plan. I must acquire a justice deck and be declared the king of cards. This is far more important than errands. Well, you can't rule on an empty stomach. Please, my valiant knight, eat. Yay! Yes.
I have to eat that?
Yes. Increase your health permanently.
Oh,
Mama made a pie!
oh, that's just the upgrade.
Yeah. A couple other things to hit upon, other than the DualShock 5, which, again, I am curious to see how you feel about it.
Okay.
Because I don't think, I agree with John, it's not a huge upgrade. But it is just enough that I think it's going to be bigger. And I think some of that, honestly, also has to do with the haptic triggers, haptic feedback. Like,
Oh,
you're
100%.
going to need more room in there.
Like they were
probably
going to
did that.
add more
Yeah.
features. Did they keep the touchpad?
Yes.
Okay. I'm intrigued because it doesn't seem like there are a ton of games that really integrate with it. So
Did you see the LED light up front?
I can see from that.
I couldn't remember if it was there.
But,
Yes,
No, no.
got him.
got him! I do believe that it is going to be a lot more enjoyable for the general populace. Because I think it's just large enough that it'll be more appealing to you, and just small enough that anybody who's been playing with the DualShock is fine. Hit the lantern, dude.
I would say try to hit the middle of the lantern. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. I'm sorry, I was like, can I hit the lantern?
I forgot you didn't play Spectre Knight, so that's a whole mechanic thing.
Mechanics.
Mechanics, what are they? Moving forward, it looks like the developers of Soma and Amnesia, The Dark Descent, are working on a brand new game, which is interesting in and of itself because they are also very good at psychological horror games. So it looks like 2020 may be a year of some quite interesting announcements between psychological horror and Platinum Games. Please, for the love of God, Bayonetta 3, let's see it. I'm ready. I'm ready.
You said you didn't really like,
I like 2, it just didn't tickle my fancy in the way that I expected it to. Oh, you're talking about Astral Chain.
well, I mean, that too.
Yeah, Astral Chain, I actually had a long discussion with a friend of the show who I think has watched an episode, but that's fine. He's a good friend of ours, Creston, who loved Astral Chain. And when I went over my complaints about the game, he was like, no, those are all valid. I was like, he's like, they just didn't bother me the same way they bother you. I was like, that's fair.
Yeah.
That happens a lot, where there's certain things that bother the crap out of me in the game, and people are like, that's fine. Not wrong. Other than that, honestly, again, aside from CES, where there's not a whole lot of news. Britain's Royal Mail is looking to release some video game themed stamps, including Lara Croft, and I believe I saw on there Animal Crossing. So those look kind of cool. And then it also looks like the Lord of the Rings Golem game has been announced. It is going to be a game that is about the life of the character, but will not feature the character from the movies that we all know so well.
Not so traditional Smeagol villain.
Correct. Like the Andy Serkis, decrepit, I only wish to catch a fish so juicy sweet. So, like, their designer was referencing the fact that if you look at how The Hobbit is written, it actually doesn't have a solid descriptor.
Oh, son of a
What did you do? Of Smeagol, and that he is actually quite large in the first illustration ever made of him. So I'm very curious to see where this goes. It is confirmed for next gen and PC. So that's really it on the news front. Again, there's going to be more next week. Do not fret, dear listener, dear valiant steed. I don't know why your horse is all of a sudden. But there'll be more to come, so. Oh, he's got something for the show! Let's hear.
From a tech and gaming perspective simultaneously, mostly from a PC perspective here.
Yes?
NVIDIA had announced that they're...
Don't ruin CES.
No, it's not CES. As far as I know, because it popped up, I think, 3 days ago. But anyway, NVIDIA had talked about coming out with 360 hertz capable G-Sync monitors.
So that's part of CES. But yes. Yes. They're releasing them along with, I don't think they're the only company though. It might just be NVIDIA, yeah.
No, well, so NVIDIA doesn't do the monitors themselves. That like they're talking about, I guess, the support for it, that kind of thing.
Correct.
And you know they got other companies in line to do the support. But what games do you know can run at 360 frames per second?
I mean, what do you think we're looking at right now? This is 360 frames per second. Sure. I mean, Yacht Club's genius. I thought he was gonna dive straight in the hole.
I was like, at least pick that up. I worked really hard for that.
Yeah, that's that level of Bloodborne or whatever you want. Your soul's born. So you gotta run all the way back to the left. Keep going.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Or if you die and you lose your bag. You almost got it. But yeah, Shovel Knight. Big fan, hence why we're here. I actually asked a lot, begged the guys so that we could play this because I'm really enjoying this new campaign. And also, it's a wonderful send-off to a game that I cared quite a bit about when it first came out, and I continued to follow their story. So please let us know what you think about the tale of Shovel Knight, and also Mark's prowess as the king. Also, should I narrate more games while we play them?
See, I would argue that games like this are the reason why you can become, if you're looking to become a better gamer.
Oh, 100%.
Because these have a whole other level of precision that you just don't get from some of the other stuff.
Oh, you're so close!
Between the
I'm going to the left
combos,
this
between
time.
timing, between even different types of playthroughs with the same, like different characters in the same areas. Man! That was just...
I know what I gotta do, and I just keep goofing it at the last second.
So it reminds me a lot of what we're seeing with other games of a similar caliber, like Celeste. Celeste is a difficult game, but is also manageable by the average consumer because you can add an assist mode, you can change how you handle the jumps, like it's customizable difficulty. And Shovel Knight has a lot of that. It is a tough game in general for the average audience. But, like, if you want to make the game more challenging, destroy checkpoints.
Yeah.
That way you can't respawn at the checkpoint. There are other ways that you can do it as well. There's different modifiers. But that's what's really cool about these games. Also, if you're just curious as to what when people talk about nostalgic SNES games, like SNES games and stuff, this is what they're talking about. Now,
the ghosts, the goblins.
Yeah, I don't recommend anybody go and necessarily play those games today if you're not up to that skill level, but this is the experience they're discussing, and it's well worth diving into. Again, it's $40, but you get 4 different campaigns. You get the Battle Royale version of it if you have it on PS4, PC, or Xbox One. You would think these people are paying me, but I just love them that much.
Yeah, it's true. Oh my god! Oh!
Ah, you were so good!
I hit it!
So good!
I hit it!
One more go, and then we're gonna end the night.
I was so frustrated.
The other thing that to take into account, like when you're playing Uncharted, is that all of those games are actually, though similar in a lot of respects, were very different in like how, like in the like sense of like Indiana Jones.
Yes.
And how they were different from each other, even though it was very much the same type of movie. And if you liked Indiana Jones, pretty much what Nathan Drake is.
Yep.
And it was I loved playing those games. Really did. Going back and playing the collection. I was fine playing one. It was a little bit harder because of the you feel the age. And I played 3 first. And then I had to go back and play the other ones.
Sure, yours picks you up.
It's done. It's not happening.
Oh no! It's wrong.
Here's what I can do.
Yeah, I don't know if you can do that. You might be able to get that big one.
And it's gone.
And it's gone. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a short episode this week because next week we will be discussing CES.
It's going to be a big one.
It's going to be a large one.
We'll be here all week long. We, of course, don't have a whole lot of shout-outs because it's just the beginning of the month. We're getting rolling. We also, as a organization, are discussing a few changes in how we're going to handle things. So, no question of the week, no nothing.
Oh, well, that's...
No.
I know.
Somber note to end on.
How about, how drunk did you get for New Year's?
Oh, come here, Cupstick.
Oh, yeah, no. Join us on this one.
Camera.
You picked the perfect time to come around. Ladies and gentlemen, Tumbleweed
Tim
TV
Self.
in the house.
He's also not in the frame, so you can see his shoulder. It's not his face. What was a good thing that happened on your holiday? How about that? That's a good one.
I got to hang out with my friends for New Year's.
Aww, that's nice.
Honestly, dealing with my family was fine for the most part. There was a couple of rough patches. So
Fine.
Too often.
It was fine.
For the most part.
It's the
I mean, not
autobiography.
everyone has like great Christmases and stuff. I used to when I was a kid.
That's
And then I grew up and
so
became woke.
Wow. You just had a really hard time, I guess, as a kid.
Is this Shovel Knight?
Yes, it's King's Night. We'll discuss it after the show. I had a wonderful trip to Texas that I thought was going to be awful, and it turned out to be quite fun.
That's
I enjoyed it
awesome.
quite a bit. So, got to meet some family out there, which was good.
Oh, he's a cheater.
Of course he is.
How was yours, Mark?
I got too distracted. Mine was pretty good. There were some overwhelming parts, of course, with tons of family and.
Boom!
Wow. Talk about like brute force attack.
A little overwhelming at times. I brought the girlfriend around and she got overwhelmed by some family that was a little bit more pressing than others. But other than that, it was a good time.
Your sister griller?
I can't say.
What?
Your sister griller?
No. My mom.
Oh, your mom did.
Oh yeah. No, it was.
On a charcoal flame.
But
She was a freaking whopper when she came out.
no, but we had a good time. Got to see her family and all that stuff for Christmas and all that stuff. And then of course I hung out with these 3 wonderful gentlemen here.
Aw,
for
what
New Year's and
wonderful.
whatnot, and got to have some wonderful conversations and things like that.
Yep.
But some wonderful conversations of things that
Some we would rather not repeat. Some we would.
It was a good time all in all,
I didn't think that would actually work.
The holidays in general, like, I like the fact that like as we get older, I find like I'm less and less materialistic about like what Christmas is.
I agree with that.
About what it's really about. And when you're a kid, you're like, yeah. Give me my Nintendo.
yeah. Give me my presents and that kind of thing, and then move on. And your kids and your parents are trying to teach you like that's not how this works. Thank your grandmother,
Yeah. Listen, she's gonna be dead in 3 years. Who cares? I want
I
Nintendo.
want my Game Boy Color.
Wow.
That was a little harsh. I'm sorry, Grandma.
Brian went to the dark side of his mind there.
But I can appreciate that now as I'm getting older.
Yep.
It's a good thing.
Which is
I'm
to
not a
say,
psychopath.
you should all do the same. Listen, it's fun getting gifts. We all agree.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with liking to get gifts, but also enjoy the time you spend with the people around you because, quite frankly, they aren't always around. For one reason or another, it doesn't have to be dark. It could just be, you guys fall out of friendship or something. But
Or they could be dead in 3 years.
Or they could be dead in 3 years. But the key is to enjoy that time regardless of the fact.
Absolutely.
Especially if they're dead in 3 years.
So from all of us at the Happy Hour podcast, we hope that you had a wonderful holiday.
We hope you had a happy holiday.
Holiday.
Oh, damn. That
I was
was-
gonna say, and I hope you last more than 3 years.
yeah. That would be nice. We'd appreciate that. We need the views. Trust me,
Yeah.
there's only 10 of you there. I don't care enough to go after that. That's a wonderful way to end the show. I'm going to try and do this.
Oh, that's
I got you,
Okay,
bro.
okay.
Fucking, whoa, God. That's just so many wrongs. Here, put that in your mouth. Cheers.
cheers.
Thanks, John.